Today on Eagle Nation News. Although American Sign Language is silent, the impact is loud. Isabel Moulter digs into the deaf culture Prosper ASL students are learning every single day. When on a team, your coach leads your whole team, but imagine being the one to lead your coach. Evan Authray tackles how this player went from playing for his role model to coaching alongside him. Even seeing dozens of fevers a day, the PHS nurses keep it cool. Braxton Swick uncovers what motivates our Prosper High School nurses. All this and more on today's edition of Eagle Nation News.
I'm Christina Krasnova.
And I'm Nuala Adams. We have an inspiring show for you today, highlighting many of Prosper's teachers. So stick around, ENN starts
right now. Welcome back, Eagle Nation, and thank you for joining us again here at Studio 301.
Today is Friday, September 29th. So much has happened here at PHS, so stay tuned to hear your story. Lots of new things are coming to Prosper, one of them an upcoming HEB. Coleman Meyer is live at the location with more.
Thanks, Nuala. Right now, all you see behind me is an empty field, but in just a few short months, this will be Prosper's very first HEB location. A couple months ago, HEB announced that they had purchased this land on the corner of North Dallas Parkway and Frontier Parkway. And last week, they made an official announcement that they would start construction of their newest HEB location right here. I am personally really looking forward to see what this new HEB location brings to Prosper as a whole and to the Prosper High School students right up the road. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Coleman. I know my mom's going to be super excited about this. She loves HEB.
That's awesome. I like HEB too, but right now it's kind of a far drive, so this Prosper location is going to be perfect.
Definitely.
Up first, Deaf Awareness Month is coming to a close, but students need to be more aware than ever. Isabel Moulter shows why this month is so important.
As Deaf Awareness Month comes to a close, it is important for students to learn about the deaf community. American Sign Language is not a typical language to learn, but it is just as important of a culture.
The more people in the world that know sign language, the better. We can learn sign language, but a deaf person can't learn to hear. So the more people that know sign language, even if it's just a little bit, the friendlier and more accessible the world gets for deaf people.
Ms. Hudson's compassion for her students and teaching takes PHS one step closer to her goal. She wants students to become more inclusive and more understanding of those within the deaf community.
Ms. Hudson, she is so amazing and so sweet, and she's very excited to teach us this new language. It's important to have an ASL program because it's a language, and so many people that are misunderstood communicate in that language.
The deaf community is one with encouragement and acceptance. Members are able to come together and connect through this unique language.
A deaf person can do anything a hearing person can do except hear. So really the only thing that ever stands in their way is us. So if we understand that a deaf person is perfectly capable of doing all the things that we do, except here, and we know sign language and we don't have that communication barrier everywhere, then that kind of melts away and deaf people are allowed to just be themselves.
ASL is such a unique language, and I think it's great that we recognize it here at Prosper High School. Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Isabel Moulter. Back to you guys at the desk.
The culture of ASL is so interesting, and I love how our teachers are so excited for us to learn it.
I agree, Christina. And something I'm excited for is Hollywood news. There's a new celebrity couple that has fans eager for more. Talent Talk is up next, sponsored by Cookie Co.
In this locally owned and run store, cookies are made with real ingredients, real love, real good. So when you're in the mood for a delicious bite,
come try us out at Cookie Co Frisco.
Taylor Swift has been rallying up the internet once again with a new potential lover, as well as Spotify making some huge decisions. Vivian Pecori is in studio with this week's Talent Talk.
Thank you, Nuala. Like expected, Taylor Swift has caught the internet's eye. Taylor Swift has been seen expanding her love story in an unexpected place. Travis Kelce invited Swift to the Kansas City Chiefs game this past Sunday. Swift showed up in her best dress style, wearing red and gold. And although Swift will do greater things than dating a boy on the football team, this did not stop her from sitting next to Kelce's mom in the box and cheering on Kelce after his touchdown. Fans did not think they were in-game after Swift denied Kelce's friendship bracelet and his phone number. The two were then seen leaving the game in a Corvette. Changing beats to music news, Spotify has decided to not ban AI-made music. However, Spotify believes that AI of another musician's voice, such as Drake, should not be used in a song without consent. Recently, the song Heart on My Sleeve consisted of Drake and The Weeknd's voice, was banned off of Spotify for the use of their voices. Yet the creator of that song tried to submit his song for an Emmy. Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, said that, quote, "We have a very large team that is working on exactly these types of issues." On that note, I know I have definitely heard AI songs all over my TikTok, but have y'all ever heard an AI song?
Yes, it's actually so funny. I've heard people making Patrick from SpongeBob sing random songs like Shine Bright Like a Diamond.
I have had so many Harry Styles AI covers all over my For You page, and last night I even got a Toad from Mario one.
That's so funny. I like to listen to these songs when I'm bored, but we should also listen to the advice of PHS nurses.
With other 3,000 students at PHS, there are bound to have some colds or headaches. Thankfully, here we value amazing staff, including our nurses. Bradson Swick checks up on how one nurse serves our school one runny nose at a time.
As people enter the nurse clinic at Prosper High School, they are welcomed by the wonderful nursing staff. One of those people being Nurse Roll, who has 7 years of experience in critical care, but enjoys taking care and talking with high school students.
So I would say all the connections and relationships I get to build with the students. I've always worked with adults before this at the hospital, and so just being able to build connections and relationships with the students, recognizing them in the hallway, they recognize me, it's just really rewarding and fun.
Nurse Roll serves Prosper students and faculty to make sure everyone feels safe at the school. But what makes Nurse Roll such a great nurse is that she comes from a family with a large history of being in the nursing field.
My grandma has been a nurse for 50 years. I knew I wanted to be a nurse since I was a little girl. I've never really had any other career path that I wanted to pursue.
Growing up, my grandma worked in like a nursing home, and I did not like that, and I never thought I would want to be a nurse. And then my sister worked in the ICU, the intensive care unit, and her stories made me want to do it, and I went to school, and now I've been a nurse for like 2.5 years.
I went from high school to nursing school to the ICU, and it's just always been the love of my life.
Not only does Nurse Roll have a great connection with students at Prosper High School, but she also has a great connection with the other nurses.
I love how friendly she is with the students, and she's always in a good mood, makes the days fun and go by quick. It can obviously get very busy in here at times, and she makes it enjoyable to be in here.
Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Bradson Swick.
Our nurses are always going the extra mile for our students to make sure we are all healthy, so give them a smile when you ever walk past the clinic.
It's great to see the family history of Nurse Roll.
And to know that the support we receive if we ever need to visit the nurse's office is super great.
Prosper sports are also great after a huge win over our town rivals. We have some sports updates to catch up on. Game time is up next.
The Model UN is holding their monthly meeting on Monday, October 2nd. It will be before school in room 3103 from 8:10 to 8:30 a.m. and after school in the LGI from 4:15 to 4:45. Please reach out to Anisha Mandam with any questions. We hope to see you there.
Prosper sports haven't stopped scoring, and I heard that there were some impressive stats. Colton Boston is in studio to give you your sports update.
Thanks, Christina. This week's game time will kick off at Children's Health Stadium, where last Friday the Prosper Eagles faced off against the Rock Hill Blue Hawks in the Battle of the Birds. The game was incredibly close, with the score being 14-13 going into half. But at the end, it was the Eagles coming home with a final score of 34-28. Some key players of the game were Nate Tinbarge with 205 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, and Lathan Ladolay with 55 receiving yards to only 2 catches and 1 touchdown. What a game for both of these players. The Eagles are currently 4-1 after that game and undefeated against Rock Hill. The Eagles will play against the 0-4 Little Elm Lobos at Little Elm today at 7. Hitting it to the court, our boys and girls tennis team played against Allen on Tuesday and fell short 2-17. The tennis team is now 7-4 and will face off against McKinney High School at McKinney next Tuesday at 4. Staying in the court, our Lady Eagle volleyball team also played against Allen on Tuesday and swept Allen, winning 3-0. This is the 11th time this season that the Lady Eagles have swept a team 3-0. Our volleyball team is now 2nd in district play, closely following McKinney Boyd. The Lady Eagles will face off against the McKinney Lions at McKinney today starting at 5:30. Going from the court to the track, our boys and girls cross-country team will be competing in the Jesuit Cross Country Classic at Prestonwood Polo Club this Saturday at 8 a.m. Good luck to those competing. Taking a splash this weekend is our boys and girls water polo team. Both teams will be facing off against that other school, at the Prosper ISD Natatorium this Saturday. The girls will play at 9 a.m. and the boys will play at 10:30. Let's hope to show Rock Hill who the flagship school is for a second week in a row. Throwing it to the mats, two coaches used their friendships to lead the wrestling team to success. Evan Othray tackles how these two Prosper wrestling coaches are better together.
Coach Lee is known as a hard-working, high-intensity coach now in his second year at Prosper High. But his motivation is now stronger than ever, working with the new assistant wrestling coach, Coach Dibble.
I met Coach Dibble my freshman year when I was at Hebron High School. He just was one of the football coaches that got assigned to wrestling, and that's kind of where we first met each other in the wrestling side of the world, was just by him being the assistant coach to Coach Rosansky and being there every day and coaching us hard and doing what he was supposed to do. So,
5 years after Coach Lee graduated, the two bumped back into each other.
I guess it would have been 2 years ago. It was a little coaching meeting that we had there in the Louisville district, and I bumped into Coach Lee, and he had just told me he got his first job, and he was taking over as the head coach at Louisville High School for wrestling. And so, which was great to see, after all that, because we'd lost touch over college.
After reuniting, these two coaches finally see what it's like from each other's perspective.
After Coach Lee's first year at Louisville, we played in a golf tournament together, and it was there he had told me he had accepted a position. He was coming up to Prosper to be the head coach here. So, wished him luck. And then about a year later, I guess this would have been last May, he got in contact with me and said he was in need of an assistant coach. And just knowing what I know about Prosper, and it just seemed like the right move at the time. And so I accepted, and here I am now.
Coaching with him now is super interesting because now I get to see the other side of it, right? All the times where I was like, man, Coach Dibble is so hard. Oh my God, why is he always picking on us? It's in that. It's just like a full circle moment when now you're the person coaching with him, and now I'm the one saying the same things that he told us when I was in high school about being on time, doing the things right, setting hard lines, and making sure kids follow his instructions. It's just a real interesting moment now that we're here together.
These two wrestling coaches have been shaping their student athletes. Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Evan Othray.
Coach Lee was a back-to-back state champion in wrestling, so he really knows what he's talking about.
I can see why.
Well, that's all we have for you today, Eagle Nation. Thank you for letting us tell your stories. Once again, I'm Nuala Adams.
And I'm Christina Krasnova. Have a great weekend, and go Eagles!